So you've managed to open Neurothrope and are wondering how useful they are. Today we'll look at how long it takes to level them and the legendary events they're useful for. Hello everyone. This week we've all been doing the character event for the first Tyrannid Neurothrope. Hopefully you watched my recent video on how to get them to Epic 1 and are well on your way there. I know a lot of us got stuck in mission 17 where we needed to have a Tyrannid to complete the mission, but as long as you start mission 20 by Tuesday then you should still get them to Epic 1 level. Either way, I hope you at least got them opened, and today we'll look at where Neurothrope ranks against the other characters in terms of leveling and their usefulness in legendary events. Similar to the recent Tacticus video, I won't dive into guild raids or PvP, I'll leave that for our other amazing content creators. As always, you can find links to the Google Sheets below. So let's start with looking at how long it takes to level Neurothrope when compared to the other characters. Thankfully Snowprint, the developers of Tacticus, are really making some of the new characters a bit easier to level. To go from Stone 1 to Diamond 1, it takes around 22 days, just a couple days more than the Thousand Sun characters, and 8 days less than the most expensive character, Certus. By the way, in case anyone is wondering about the upgrades needed for Neurothrope, I found they had added some new upgrades, but also, as mentioned in the patch notes, there are some changes to previous upgrades. The changes I found were the Nano Scarab Swarm has become the Nano Swarm, Adamantium Nano Scarab Swarm is now Regenerating Nano Swarm, the Mutation Demonic Horns is now Imposing Horns, and the Mutation Demonic Power is now Otherworldly Power. As always, for those that prefer the graph, we can see Neurothrope on the right hand side. So pretty easy to level, but are they useful for legendary events? If you saw my video on Tacticus, then you know that he is the worst character possible in legendary events right now. Let's see if Neurothrope does a bit better. The useful traits that Neurothrope has are Xenos, Flying, Psyker, Physical, Psychic, Ranged, One Hit, and two new traits, Shadow in the Warp and Synapse. These last two traits are not being used yet, but I guess we'll get to see them in future legendary events. So let's go through each event and see how they fit in. But I just want to say again that there may be errors here, so please do let me know if you catch any. So let's start with Jane Czar, whose last event we will see starting at the end of next week on the 10th of September. I hope you are all prepared and excited to dive into that event as I am. So the very first track, and Neurothrope shows up big already, being able to participate in 4 battles and being just behind Makotep in terms of usefulness. For the beta track, Neurothrope can't be used as it's only for Imperials, but they can be used in the gamma track. However, it's only in the no mech battle. Altogether, for the Jane Czar event, Neurothrope gives 310 points. This is just outside the 400 points that I see as the most useful characters in this event, but it's still pretty good. So how about On-Shi? Well, Neurothrope appears once in the Alpha track in the max 2 hits battle. Then they appear 3 times in the Beta track in the no resilient, no summons and physical battle. Finally, they appear a whopping 4 times again in the Gamma track. Only Varro Tigarius appears in more battles. Overall, for the On-Shi event, they finish on 590 points, which is actually the 4th most useful character in the event. In the Gamma track, if I level Neurothrope and Sarquel, I could actually use them in the physical, one hit, and no power battles. This would be more tokens saved than I'm saving right now. Neurothrope doesn't really move the needle in the On-Shi event anywhere else for me, but depending on your characters, maybe they're very useful in the beta event for you. In the Shadow Sun event, Neurothrope doesn't appear in the Alpha track at all, but does appear 3 times in the Beta track and 2 times in the Gamma track. That only gives him 270 points in the Shadow Sun event. So for me personally, he won't really make a big difference to my Shadow Sun teams because I already have incredibly strong teams in the battles he would participate in. But again, have a look at your teams yourself and see if he could find a place. Overall, Neurothrope definitely performs a hell of a lot better than Tacticus, as they come in at 10th place overall. And so this is definitely a character you could consider as a useful part of your team. Maybe for newer characters you might want to focus on Neurothrope rather than some of the other characters who might take a lot longer to level. For the older players, maybe it's not as useful, but definitely one that you should consider. I hope this was useful to you. If you have any questions or feedback for the video, then feel free to ask me below. Finally, if you have found this content useful, then you can use my referral code in-game to get 100 free blackstone, just like Savage Katrab, BM12868, Player 5682, Player 7525, Player 4685, Yerbatonic, Latruit, Chaseface, and Math Guy Keith have done recently.